So I made a video the other day about cooking with grease. It's one of my recession-proof your pantry tips. And it was very popular. So I want to share with you how to use your leftover grease to cook. So for bacon grease is probably the most widely used because of the flavor. Everybody loves bacon. So to start with, after you fry your bacon, you can go ahead and cook your eggs in your grease. That adds such a fabulous flavor to the eggs. And you could do omelets, you could do your hash browns, your potatoes, however you cook your potatoes. The whole breakfast meal can be cooked in bacon grease, or sausage grease for that matter. Plus, you can use the grease to make a gravy. I have a biscuits and gravy video that you can see where I do that. For your vegetables, you can pour some bacon grease on top of it instead of olive oil if you're going to roast them. You can use a little bacon grease in the bottom of your pan when you saute your vegetables. If you're going to make some meat, you can put some of the grease down in the bottom of the pan before you start frying. I did some pork chops the other day that were just they didn't have a lot of fat on them. So I put some grease in the bottom of the pan and cooked those. You can add it to popcorn for a delicious flavor. You can use it in making your bread, like cornbread or biscuits. You can use it to season your cast iron pans. If you're going to make a pie crust for a savory type pie, you can add it into that. So bacon grease, so your grease will solidify when it gets cooler, and so you can just measure it right out. Anything that you're cooking that you're going to add bacon, you can use bacon grease. Bacon grease is natural. There's a lot of the oils that we have on our grocery store shelves that are not natural. They're not good for you. And bacon grease it's natural. Now there are some nitrates and nitrites in it, so I recommend that you use the best quality meat that you can buy. Now let's talk about other kinds of leftover fat. So if I make a steak, I usually make a gravy to go with it with the drippings from the pan. If you make your Thanksgiving turkey, you're going to use those drippings and that fat to make your turkey gravy. Gravy is so easy to make. You just need an equal amount of flour as grease. So if you have a tablespoon of grease, you want a tablespoon of flour. And then you just add, after that's cooked, after you've cooked it in your pan, you want to let it cook just a little bit. Don't let it turn brown. But once it starts turning colors, you want to go ahead and add your liquid. And you can change up your flavors based on the liquid you put in it. Of course, now the bacon fat is going to flavor it like bacon. The sausage fat is going to flavor it like sausage. If you have your steak fat left over, then it's going to taste like a beef flavor. So you can change things up and make different types of gravy to go with different dishes. My daddy's family came from the Appalachian Mountains, and they used whatever they could get their hands on. Well, they didn't have jars of oil. They had pork, they had pigs, and maybe a cow, but they probably just ate a lot of pork and lard. So my great-grandmother always saved her leftover fat. I have seen many in my family have a little container sitting on the stove with that stuff in it. Now I keep mine in the refrigerator because I don't use it quite as much as they did. They cooked everything in it. I do use olive oil. I try to use more natural oils, but I do use my bacon fat, and I do make gravies, and I do what's best for me. And if I didn't have oil, or I couldn't afford oil, which who knows what's coming up, then that's what I would use. Whatever I could cook, whatever was left over. If I make ground beef and I'm going to use it in vegetable soup, let's say, I don't pour those drippings off. I pour them right into my soup. I just leave the oil right in it. It's good for your body, and your body needs it. Your body needs that fat. And it's a lot better than the genetically modified oil. So I want to encourage you to try it. To try some different things with, buy some bacon. Buy a good quality bacon and save that oil and use it for your cooking, and just try it out. I believe we're going to need tips like these coming up in the next season. I think we're going to be without a lot of food. And I think food's going to be very expensive. So I want to encourage you to save your grease and to use it for something else. It's a lot of flavor that you're just throwing away. So keep that and use it. This is Jackie Crawford from Otherwise. And remember, dinner's at 6.